We have email that you can send to you can contact our Advocacy and Legal Advice Center. The address is alac at cental.org.lr. It's spelled ALAC at CENTAL.org.lr. The Facebook address is Central ALAC, all in uppercase. The hotline number 4432, simple as that. Just dial 4432. That's the number you can call to contact our Advocacy and Legal Advice Center. Both Orange and Lone Star is free of charge. You need not to worry. When you are calling, just charge your phone and make sure you have basic facts to help the team that will be receiving the calls so that we can be able to follow up on your behalf. The Integrity Watch radio program is very civil and informative with zero tolerance on the use of invectives and other denigrating comments. So guests appearing on this platform, they are guarded by the rule. So today is October 6, 2022, and this edition of the program is playing host to the Liberia Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, LEITI. In studio with me today, we have the head of Secretariat. He's going to call his own name. Welcome to studio, sir.
Thank you so much, Sam. My name is Jeffery Yates, and I'm the head of Secretariat at the LEITI.
And the one who's responsible for communications and outreach is, please call your name, sir.
My name is Cedrick Kpadeh. I am the head of communications and outreach at the Liberia Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative.
That's the voice. Cedrick Kpadeh, he is the head of communications and outreach at LEITI. So the both of them have come to studio today so that we can talk about activities of the LEITI, and we're going to be narrowing down on beneficial ownership. So please stay tuned as we have this discussion today. As usual, we're not going to take everything out of our talking points because we want our guests to have more time to talk about the activities. So we're going to speak only to the president this morning. Good morning, Your Excellency. That is under little things that matter. Good morning, Your Excellency, and good morning to the peace-loving people of Liberia. Your Excellency, as usual, we come to you and bringing things of national concerns to you so that we remind you about these things that should be happening in our country. So today, we have come with a few things that we hope we will share with you, and you can take note of them. Your Excellency, on a very fair and clear note, your officials should stop scapegoating professionals for their ineptitude and errors. I will say that again. Your Excellency, your officials should stop scapegoating professionals for their ineptitude and errors. We are making specific reference to the National Port Authority. Your Excellency, the issue regarding the rights has never been handled with the urgency it deserved from the onset. When this matter started, it was being reported and people were struggling to have access to rice. The officials said there were your rice available on the market. Yourself, Your Excellency, you even caused some of these contradictions. That's why we said yesterday, when you are away, Your Excellency, and people are on the ground and working, when you come back and you are asked about situation on the ground, the best thing to tell the media is, let me consult with the people who were on the ground, rather than making statements that will contradict the entire situation. So you told the Liberian people that you don't listen to noisemakers, rather you listen to the importers, that there was rice on the market, and you were going to do your own inspection. So all of these things have they happened. Now, the government of Liberia came to a press statement and said they are going to have rice on the market in days. that is seriously in contradiction of what he said, Your Excellency. That's not the issue we want to talk about today. But what we want to talk about is Malcolm Scott was only doing his work as a communication person for the National Post Authority. I'm not sure Malcolm would have spoken if he was not instructed to have done so. Yes, I can repeat that. Malcolm would not have spoken if he was not authorized, especially in such a critical condition, on such a critical matter, when crisis already had erupted, and then communication person of an institution would not have spoken easily if he was not authorized. If this matter had gone the other way around, had they not received the backlashes it received, the acting managing director would have taken glory for it. He received the backlashes, so now the poor labor has been suspended because he was doing his work. That's scapegoating. You cannot do this. They were in error. Let them learn to take responsibilities for things when they happen instead of taking people and using them as scapegoat. This is wrong, Your Excellency. You need to tell your people that when they're wrong, let them be able to admit to the Liberian people that they were wrong. That's why we wanted to bring to your attention, Your Excellency. Let the officials stop scapegoating professional people for their errors. The error. Let them admit that it was error on their part. This issue was not handled with the kind of urgency it deserved. When we talked about it over and over, we call your attention, we call the officials' attention to make sure that they address the issue with the urgency that it deserved. They were playing the same usual don't care attitude when situation comes about. So that's what we wanted to bring to your attention today, Your Excellency. And I think it requires that you take the necessary steps to address this matter. I mean, it's seriously, like we told you yesterday, Your Excellency, there is another thing, the Ministry of Health. The Ministry of Health, the Global Fund money is in limbo. $500,000 is in limbo at the Ministry of Health. You need to intervene. The Global Fund report is out. You can access it. It's all over the internet. Your Excellency, these are not good signs. These things don't encourage donors or partners to come and work with us. When they bring their resources and they are misapplied in such a manner, allegedly, I mean, it means that you need to take serious action, or the government need to take serious action to address these kinds of things so that we can have these partners with all of the time. We need the resources from these partners. They are actually helping us. But when we are not accounting for them, it becomes a problem. That's the reason why we find ourselves where we are. Investors are not coming. We are not asking ourselves why. Everyone is seeking government job, and we're not asking ourselves why. No, the private sector is almost closed, and we're not asking ourselves why. Your Excellency, you need to answer the questions. The government need to answer the question: why these things? Why is the concentration so high? Everyone wanting government job. The list coming from party headquarters and going to different places. I mean, we should stop sending lists around. Let people compete in the job market. That's what we should do. Then we'll have value for money. When people compete in the job market, then you have value for money. You will hire professionals and you have delivery of services to the people. The people want the services, but they cannot have access to them. Your Excellency, you need to do something about this. Thank you so much. These are things we want to bring to your attention. Like, we just want to talk this in passing. We want to ask you about the outcome of the Brooklet Committee report on brutality against journalists. We still want to know what has happened. Where is that report? What were the issues captured in that report? We need to know. Rather than speculating, I think it's better that you share with us what were those things captured in the report. You cannot have professional people like the Councillor Larry Brooklet and other prominent individuals investigating matters, and they submit report to you, and you just keep it quiet, and nothing happened on those reports. Thank you. Those are things we're going to bring to your attention. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll take our guests. Let's take a break. Mike, it's okay.
Can you share the
live is on center page? Yeah, it's on center page.
No. Being there, and if you're just joining us, the program you are in tune to is called Integrity Watch. It's a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is a key advocacy tool of Central. So today we brought in studio the team from the LEITI and the head of Secretariat, Jeffery N. Yates. Yates is here with us, and Cedrick Kpadeh is the one who has communications and outreach at LEITI. So let's begin with Mr. Yates. How is the LEITI going?
Thank you so much, Zota, and to the rest of the team in studio. Firstly, let me say good morning to our listeners. It is always a pleasure whenever Center call upon us to share ideas or to give an update on our activities at the LEITI. So to answer your question, the LEITI, we are doing okay. We have a very vibrant and determined, goal-oriented multi-stakeholder group, because you know that the multi-stakeholder group are the ones, those guys are the ones that determined the pathway for the LEITI in Liberia. We are just like the implementing arm for the MSG. So with the strong, focused, determined, and goal-oriented MSG, we are gradually making progress at the LEITI. Though some will say we are making so much progress, but we see from our side at the Secretariat that we are making gradual progress, and we believe that with the speed and accuracy, with the determination we have as staff from the Secretariat, we believe that in the next couple of years, we'll have a very, very good mark when it comes to validation. As you may be aware, quite recently, Liberia was validated by the EITI, and we passed the validation. We passed the validation with a score of 76. So the mandate now of the MSG to the Secretariat is that as we go towards validation in 2024, we should jump from 76 to somewhere in 85. So it's not an easy task to do, but we think that with the determined staff that I have, with the professional staff that I have, with the oversight from the multi-stakeholder group, we are confident that before 2024 there will be significant progress, and as we face validation in 2024, there will be a great change in terms of EITI implementation in Liberia. So by and large, we are okay, and we look forward to doing even more. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So let's get a little insight about how we got the score. What were the benchmark to get us the score of 76?
So the EITI, unlike other government institutions, I'm not trying to be maybe picking at other government institutions. Unlike other government institutions, the LEITI, we have our art, the LEITI art, but also we have the EITI standard. So countries that are part of the EITI, they should operate in line with the EITI standard. So when countries are validated, validation is the process by which the EITI assess a country against the EITI standard to ensure that the country is meeting up with the standard. So during the validation process, you have three templates. You have the transparency template, you have the impact and outcomes and impact template, and then you have the stakeholder templates, right? So the stakeholder templates is all about whether the multi-stakeholder group, and other relevant stakeholder in the EITI process, whether they are functioning very well, whether they are, especially for civil society on the board, whether they are not, there's no interference from other forces, whether decisions are perfect. So they just want to have a straight and civil society participation in the EITI process. So they, to see how government, civil society, and the companies, how they are, collaborating to make sure that we have a functioning EITI. So the entire stakeholder template looks at the participation, the cross section or the cross pollination of these various sectors to the workings of the LEITI. Then the outcomes and impact template is all about what is the EITI achieving in the country. So you got to fill in, and those things are not things that you just say by mouth. The EITI doing the validation of very, 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 very rigorous process, because whatever you say, you must provide pieces of evidence to substantiate what you are saying. So if you say that the EITI has worked to transform, say, the communication strategy, you got to give the updated communication strategy to prove what you are saying. So everything that we write in, or that was written in the template, there were pieces of evidence provided by the Secretariat, approved by the MSG, and given to the EITI Secretariat for review. So the outcomes and impact template, like I said, it looks at the impact the EITI is making in the country, whether we are really, making significant impact, whether our presence, we are changing things around. When I say changing things around, you know what I mean, for the good. So that is the outcomes and impact template. That is what it looks at. Then the transparency template is like you have the EITI standard to make sure that whether the revenue figures are presented fairly, whether export data, all those, like for example, you have the issue of employment data, all those other standards that deal with transparency. Then you have to fill in that template, the transparency template, based on what you produce in your EITI report. So those three templates to fill up SOTA. People just think that the validation process is something easy, but Liberia, where we came from as a country, where when we got suspended and then we fought, we came back, the suspension was lifted. The validation process, an attempt for Liberia at that point in time when glass got validated, if we're going to fill validation, not even suspension, we're going to get delisted, meaning that we are not part of the EITI. And the EITI is such a way that it's not a friendship club. Okay. It's not something that there are compromises. No, the EITI is strict. No. In fact, not the validation is such a way that not even the folks at the International Secretariat, most often they are not the ones doing the validation. You have people outside the International Secretariat with vast experience in these things. They are the ones doing it. You don't see them. They just ask you the question, you provide the answer, provide pieces of evidence, and then they come up with that judgment. So it's a very straightforward process. In fact, I think that's the brand. If you ask me, that's the brand of the EITI. The validation process. It's not compromised. When you're supposed to meet a standard, you must meet the standard. So once we did that and we got the score of 76, next time as we go towards the next validation in 2024, it is expected that we will not go less than what we last achieved. So now that we have achieved 76, when we get validated in 2024, an attempt to go below 76, I mean, is a problem for the country. So we must go either the 76 or
was it now to all of these things, the T's and the I's are all talking.
Obviously the EITI validation, it doesn't just look at the standard. They have something at the end of the day they call it corrective actions, right? Like I think we have 11 corrective actions, 14 corrective actions that the EITI already told us these are things that you guys need to work on. So we already have it. The MSG has reviewed it, and we are in the process of implementing those corrective actions. We are confident. For example, one of the reasons why we are here today, the issue of beneficial ownership is part of the corrective action. Issue of contract transparency is part of the corrective action. So by and large, we have already started implementing the corrective action bit by bit, and we are confident that before we reach to the next validation, we will be able to implement or achieve all the corrective actions before we face validation.
This before going to Cedrick, what mitigation measure do we have in place now? Because you don't have the power to for appointment. It should be, though the act provides for that. We witnessed what happened with the Lincoln case where we got suspended. What mitigation measure do we have in place now to avoid these kinds of things happening by those who think they have the appointing power?
I think we have to a larger extent we have crossed from my own perspective of things. I think we have crossed the the Rubicon because call that time the Rubicon where we're facing so much difficulties. I think we have crossed that path, and where we are now, we are the country Liberia as a country. I think we are focusing more on achieving or making headways in the EITI. So that is the focus of the country now. I can tell you for real, there's a program called the Opening Extractive Program. We'll come on discussing the beneficial ownership. The government of Liberia was waiting and to accept to join the program, and the government wrote back to the EITI and open ownership, agreeing to join the open ownership program. So I mean, you can see the commitment from the government angle that they are willing to implement the EITI, though there are challenges around along the way. But we think that we can work around the challenges, and then we can make Liberia's EITI more vibrant, and we can make it like a shining stone amongst the implementing countries of the EITI. That's the confidence that we have in ourselves, and that's the confidence that the MSG is supervising.
Okay, Kpadeh, let's get to you. You want to weigh in on
Yeah,
that
before your question, I think on this last question, where we are, I think what the plus for Liberia here is that every stakeholder, because we know we have three, the tripartite arrangement, the government, companies, and the civil society. Every stakeholder is willing and working with the process, and so the issue of what happened before will not come back to haunt Liberia again, because we all the stakeholders now understand what role they need to play, and they are playing it properly.
So, does that mean that the stakeholders never had the understanding before, or who really never had that clearer understanding?
I think we have to be straightforward. We shouldn't misdirect our conversation.
We will not.
But I think where we came from, the challenges at that time, I think there were misunderstanding. Let's call it like that. Let's call it there were misunderstanding that time. I think people were moving a little faster, and but now that we have all worked together, the government, the civil society, and companies, even our observers, the donors, we have all worked together, and we have all set to the dust. I think the country is now becoming a shining stone in EITI implementation, and I think general the citizens they have redeveloped their trust in the EITI, and then LEITI now is making significant progress across the length of this country.
Great. Cedrick, let's get to you. What are the recent activities of the LEITI? And I think what was the latest report? Is it the 13th?
Yeah, the 13th report was in July published by the multi-stakeholder group. That report is up and running already. We have also disseminated it to the public, but our dissemination normally takes in twofold. We disseminate it, we publicize it first, we launch it, by the MSG launch it, and then we decimate them, that is, make it into smaller copies, and then in the most simpler form, and disseminate it to the length and breadth of Liberia. That is the 15 counties that we have not done because due to some funding availability. So, but for the full website that has been done, they taking it to the people now to explain exactly the details of what the report is about, how much data, which once the fundings are available,
Great.
And we'll also add up to what Cedrick said. Currently, we also have the 14 report process ongoing. The MSG, the independent administrator presented the scoping, right? The scoping of the 14 report to the MSG, and MSG review and approved the scoping of for the at the close of this month, October or early November, the MSG will be approving the 14 EITI report for Liberia. So now you have the tech team, and we are confident that before the close of November or maybe around November 15, we will be publishing the 14 EITI report for Liberia. Concomitantly, we're also in the process of doing the procurement process for the 15 EITI reports. Because, I mean, like I said, the MSG now, the direction of the MSG is that now that we have picked up as an implementing country, we should continue on the path, and we shouldn't limit the speed. So as I speak, Liberia is current with our reporting framework, but we want to be like ahead.
All right.
So once we are publishing the 14 in November, we are doing the procurement for the 15. So we are hopeful that maybe probably, because we know next year is election year, so we are hoping that before April, May of next year, we will be able to publish the 15, because the 15 report will cover it covers the period January of this year to December, and the last 6 months, September of 2022. So the report that we are doing for the 15 will cover 1 year, 6 months. So, but let's state categorically that Liberia, there is no hurdle with the issue of reporting. We are fine. We are doing well. We are excellent with our reporting period as far as the EITI is concerned.
Great. So what's the secret?
The secret is just the dedication, the commitment, the hard work, the push from the MSG. I mean, Zota, we have an MSG. I mean, people. You see the pressure. Sometimes we want to go because you have sectors that you're trying to balance. The government is there, civil society is there, then you have the companies there. Then on the other side, you have observers, which is we consider them the donors, right? Okay. So you have to, so you are like reporting to those full group of people, and human being, the way they think. Yeah. Some people will say, no, we don't want to let them, man, you got to do it like this. So like that, we have to go back as a secretary, recalibrate, and then try to meet the demand for the MSG. So it's not an easy task, but one of the good things that I can always say wherever I go, we are a young team at the LEITI, a very young team. But not only young, but I think we have a lot of commitments from the staff. We have professional staff. You see me and Cedrick here. If they're not the boss man, you had to Cedrick the boss man. So we don't use that too much of boss theory in the EIT. I know. I think our strength is discussion. Whatever we have, I always call the team around. I say, gentlemen, this is what it is. Let's discuss. Pieces of strategy we are looking forward. We're always using. So again, thanks to my team. I have a very strong, committed, and young team. I always tell them thank you because they are like the backbone at the Secretariat. We just look at
also a very pushing boss.
Look at the program you are listening to is called Integrity Watch. It's a 1-hour radio program brought to you by the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia. It is aired every Thursday on ECOWAS Radio and relayed on Prime FM in Monrovia. Today we have a team from the LEITI in studio. So now we want to go to the issue about beneficial ownership. I will want for us to the listener, please, we will just drop our pace a little bit and go a little simpler, so that you understand what it means by beneficial ownership. That's a big word, but I want them to break it down. What did I say? I'm saying I want the people that are in studio here to break the thing what they call beneficial ownership. Let it talk it simple so that you in the market can understand it. So I'll go to Cedrick. Cedrick, tell us what it means by beneficial ownership?
All right. Let me bring an example because since you want all to be simple.
Yeah.
For example, let's say Mahawa get her water market in Red Light. Mahawa get her pepper, her bitter ball every morning to go and sell. So she go and put her knee down, say that my small market here. If the money that Mahawa getting from that market who can make that to say how the money will be used, the profit, what she will do with it, who can influence it.
Okay.
Yeah, so to say who get power over it.
Yes.
So if the Mahawa herself get power to decide, say this money I'll use it this way, any way I want to use it, then she become the beneficial owner of that. Because she get the power to say
what things she would do,
with the money. Yeah. Anything that happened to the market, she can answer to it. On the other hand, if Mahawa husband give her the money, you see, they market here, I putting it in your knee. But any profit, anything about the business,
two will talk about it.
The me will answer it, or you report to me, and I will decide what to do with the money. In that case, Mahawa only fronting now that you only see her behind the business is for her. But if you look at it, the person who actually get the power over that business, that the husband. So that business there now, the real person that behind it, that get that market, and not Mahawa again, but that the husband. So that the one the people can call beneficial ownership that in the people. So that's what we actually be looking at. But my boss man will tell you more about what it is like.
Okay, so Cedrick gave a very brilliant example of beneficial ownership. So the definition when they say beneficial owner is always a natural person. When they say natural person, it means that beneficial owner can be ECOWAS Radio, but it must be human being.
Okay.
Human being, that what they call natural person, is always a natural person. Okay. A natural person that owns or controls or has the husband get the money, the woman is doing the business. But who can take the decision? Who owns the business? Who controls the business? Who influences the business? That the husband. So though man are there, but the husband is the one that is the actual beneficial owners, right? So those that own and control and influence a business or a corporation are the beneficial owners, right? So let me give an example also, right? For the people, for the public to understand it better. So Cedrick and myself, we got this business in Liberia. We call our business Secretariat Business Incorporated. But we won't open a branch in, say, Reverses. So Cedrick and myself, we get the money now. So we say Cedrick get 50% and I get 50% share in Secretariat Business Incorporated. But we won't open another branch in Reverses, but we get the money. So Cedrick say, but Jeffrey, let's go to EcoBank and ask EcoBank to give us money. But how do we do it? Okay, I will get 10% of my share and you will get 10% of your share. Then at 20%, right, we can give to EcoBank. Then EcoBank can give us money and then we'll go open our business in Reverses. Yeah. So in this case, the question now is, when we give our 20% share to EcoBank give us the money that we need. Yeah. So the question is EcoBank a beneficial owner? The answer is no. Okay. Because EcoBank is an entity, it's not a natural person. Don't forget, we said beneficial owners are natural persons who own, control, and influence the business. Right. So though we gave 20% share to EcoBank, but EcoBank is not the beneficial owners. There are folks that own shares in EcoBank. Okay. So those are the beneficial owners, those that own shares that can control, make decisions in EcoBank. So the human being behind EcoBank that is beneficial owner. I want to understand. beneficial owner is never a corporation, it's always a natural person.
So we get plenty of companies in Liberia.
Very good.
They operate it. People see them all in the community. So they mean that you're going behind them to know who are the owners of these companies.
So
yeah.
So you see the work we're doing now. That what I was telling you last year. There's a group called Opening Ownership, an international body that they know their work is looking at beneficial ownership. They are partnering with the EITI. They created a program called Opening Extractive. Opening is a big word, but generally, that all the things they taking from our country, they're opening CA, right? So they're called Opening Extractive. And the Opening Extractive program is to help countries to achieve a beneficial ownership registry. So now where we are as a country, once the EIT and open ownership wrote the government accepted to join that program because the government said that program is good. Okay. So we launched that program last year, September. Yeah. Last year, September, we launched that program with our civil society, government, people from different, even from the embassy. Okay. They attended the program, we launched the program. So the intent of that program or the end result is to make sure that we have a beneficial ownership registry that is online. Okay. That even you can sit down right here if you want to know the owners, the beneficial owners of Ashla Metal. You just go on that particular registry, you type Ashla Metal, you see everything will come to you. But you know it's a process. So once we launched the program, the first thing we did was to do a scoping to see Liberia's readiness. What are we ready to implement the Open Extractive program? Okay. So they did a scope and we aspects for like. So once we got through with the scoping, the next thing we did was to develop a comprehensive work plan. It's a comprehensive in detail, right? Yeah. A very big work plan, but take everything inside it. Yeah. We develop our work plan because the program is for 5 years. Okay. So we developed it, but Liberia has an ambition. The government said that though the program is for 5 years, but Liberia should take a year and a half to make sure that we get that registry. Because once we get that registry, it's not only helping EITI out. If you look at requirement 2.5 of the EITI, it talks about country having beneficial ownership registry. So the last time they got validated, I was telling you, when they validated us against our stand-up, we failed. They call it short, right? We meet that stand-up because we don't have the registry. So as soon as we're going to get that registry, now that we're at 76, maybe we're going to jump to 80. So you see now why we're doing beneficial ownership work. Okay. So because once we make sure we achieve that registry, before 2024, we can't do the assessment again. There will be one of the things. So, but we told the people to do the thing. They have done it. Yes, they check it. Okay. So it's how it works. The EITI is straightforward. So we have also done the regulation. There's a draft BO regulation that first of all we have a national steering committee that the government set up to do this, to achieve this work. You have LEITI, you have the Liberia Business Registry, you have the Liberia Revenue Authority, you have the Liberia Petroleum Regulatory Authority, and the Financial Intelligence Unit, right? So we are a national steering committee working together to make sure that we achieve the beneficial ownership registry. So because all the institutions that are just listed, there, for example, the LRA, OECD is a beneficial ownership requirement, is something on the OECD. FIU, is a requirement, beneficial ownership registry is a requirement. LEITI is a requirement. So all that requires a BO work, we have all come together to work. Because once we work, we achieve it. Not only LEITI, FIU say again, Jiba can go assess FIU. So when they go to assess FIU, say, oh, okay, yeah, Liberia registration, so FIU pass. They go to LRA, OECD go assess LRA, so oh, okay, yeah, Liberia registration, LRA pass.
So that means it's not only you,
not only
different
the other institutions, yeah. So it's a big thing we're doing. So we get the regulation now. We are looking at the regulation as the even the central bank. All of us, we are working together. Now the next thing we're doing now is that because we're doing that kind of thing, it's good to tell the people. Yeah. So we're doing something called BO awareness, beneficial ownership awareness. Right. Just the morning I came from Buchanan. I slept Buchanan last night. Okay. Day 4 yesterday I was in Kima. Okay. So not only LEITI, the same five institutions, LEITI, LBR, the Corporate Business Registry, LRA, FIU, all of we're doing that way. We're going around telling the people, we're seeing them telling you here about the importance of this work.
So when people get ownership in company and they lie, is there anything that you can do to them, or the legal law that can do something to people when they lie? Okay. You getting money from the company, you're making decisions, but you lie.
So let's say the thing like this, right?
Yeah.
Let's say for example, a lawmaker,
yeah,
it's not a bad thing. Get me right? It's not illegal. There is no law that stops a lawmaker from owning shares in company. However, let it be disclosed. And the only way it can be disclosed through the registry that we are doing, right? So the regulation we're doing, of course, there are people that are trying to hide shares, right? So how it works is, if we ask you company to give us a beneficial owner, once we complete the regulation, we establish this registry. There are sanction clauses in the regulation, and that regulation will be published by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who will be like a national thing. So we got sanction clauses in it. So when we ask you for a beneficial ownership as say company A, and you don't give it to all, then we can go back to the sanction and use the sanction law against you that you provide. Yeah. So like, see what thing we're doing.
I think that is very important.
The sanction will be there for if you lie to.
You lie. Because we're hearing that some of the people that working in government, they got companies that are giving contract into. I mean, that is, even in the US government, the sanction, they put it inside too. So now some of the people, they will not want to put their name there.
They will put it
they will put different, or they do it some kind of way, then.
And one of the things that they think can fight against, because when you be man in the government, you get share in company, then you get contract to that same company against the law.
Yeah, that's fraud.
And, so you're not supposed to do that one. But the only way that bring people, you and myself, can get to know what are the things that are happening is when we get the beneficial ownership information.
I think we need to, with every one of us, every Liberian, we need to support this so that we know who are the owners of the companies that we got operating in our country. I think they are all important for us to do that. So we need
you just stressed a salient point. Yeah. Let me tell you why the beneficial ownership registry, why it good for government, why it good for the citizen, like we said, why it good for company, and even for civil society organization, right? Sure. Say for the government, and I'm very sure that's the reason why the government of Liberia said yes, we want to put rent in our country. Because when you get the registry, what it will do is that it will help to fight against tax evasion. It will help the government to fight against corruption. It will help the government to fight against fraud. It will help the government to fight against illicit financial flow. So the simple thing is, if the government is fighting fraud, fighting against corruption, fighting against tax evasion, fighting against money laundering and illicit financial flow, it means that we are finding more money.
We'll get more money.
The fact that we get more money now, we'll come into more development, right? Sure. So the government say, oh, a good thing, we want it. For the citizen, the reason why they think good for you is because once you get it, the people there assuming. The English people can say perception, assumption. But if you're guessing, but now if you get that thing there, when you get a registry, you don't know who the owners of say Ashla Metal. You go there and find it. When you're talking now as citizen, fact-based power. Okay, that advocacy. But civil society will give that advocacy now, right? Yeah, because you know to talk now and say we get the facts.
People say education is power. So when you are informed, you are empowered to make salient and sound decisions.
Absolutely.
So let's announce the numbers now so that we can take calls while the conversation goes on. The number to call 0779 0000691 0779 000, that is 03 times 691. That's the number to call to be live on the program Integrity Watch. Today we have the LEITI in studio, and we've been talking about the activities, and now we're talking about beneficial ownership. So we brought it down simply so that you out there can understand what it means. That's why we're trying to be more simpler. Maybe we We may go up a little bit, but we'll still come down so that we can be able to, explain to you so that you have an understanding of why it is. What I was saying is, all of us, Jeffrey talked about it. It benefits us more. You, as ordinary person, you will stand to benefit when we fight corruption from all of these sectors. It means that we'll have money to put medicine inside JFK so that people will not be dying every day from sickness that can be killed easily. But because no medicine there, so if you get money to go Ghana or go to Sierra Leone or go to other places, then you die. So it's not good. Then you go to JJ Dawson, no medicine there. So people got to be toting people in Hammond from the villages to carry them, looking for places to carry them, even Ivory Coast to go for treatment. So when we fight the kind of thing, then people put all the names of the people that are working that own the company, that benefiting from the company. Then we know if somebody, one minister working and you benefiting from the company, then every time the company getting plenty contract. Well now, why they one company now they will go low, they will see the minister name. Then now we know now we say, but then we the civil society will now pick it up. Then when we're talking now, we're talking with facts. Then we get power. So you yourself can get power. So let's support the process so that all of us can make Liberia better. So the number to call, 0779 0000691. That's the number to call to be live on the program. So what are the different things planned in terms of rolling out this and getting us to fully get this thing rolling out?
Okay, so like I said, we are currently still involved with the revision of the regulation. The regulation came sometime last week, so we need to share with all the the steering committee members, LBR, FIU, LRA. So we'll take like a week or two to have an in the institution review, and then we can have a joint review as a country. So once we do the review of the regulation, then we will send it back to the consultant. The consultant will do a final of it. So once the final regulation comes, then we will send it to the government, to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to publish it. So once we get that, because in that, then it will help us. The regulation, it spells out everything. So we need to develop the form. We need to, because the regulation will be to LBR, the revenue register will be to LBR. We need to train the staff of the LBR to effectively use the registry, how to operate the registry. We need to do that. So then we are hoping that with the speed and we are going on, with the support we are getting from the government, the EIT and open ownership, like I said, the program is for 5 years. But like Bira will say, again, we don't say we do 5 years before we get our registry. We are targeting this year or early next year to have this registry up for Liberia, which will be a very massive achievement for the country. Not only EITI, but LRA, LBRA, FIU, LPRA, even OCA, SABL. Once we have this registry up, we stand to benefit greatly as a country.
So with all of these things, do we have them captured in the
work plan?
The work plan,
yeah,
the timeline,
of
everything.
Course,
because our working, usually Liberian working was still.
We are on the work plan that we developed, the 5 institutions developed.
Yeah.
We also have the EITR supporting. We have a chat room. The EITR is monitoring all of this. Open ownership is also monitoring all of this. And you know the people, they are time bound. When they tell you say we need to do it this time, either you do it that time or time. Before that time, our objective, just how we plan it to
so
get it done.
What time we're expecting this particular issue, sending something back to the consultant, and when we expect the consultant to send it back?
The regulation?
Before
the close of the year, we'll have a regulation.
Yeah, we'll have it. Because we won't bring you back yet.
Yeah.
So we can know that
okay, so what we do?
Yeah.
It's a pledge to you.
Yeah.
Once we send the regulation back and the final regulation comes, during the publication or during the launch of it, because we want to make it a big launch that will have the DO regulation for Liberia, we'll invest entirely. You'll call the program. I can assure you that.
The number to call is 0779 0000691. That's the number to call to be live on the program. We're talking about beneficial ownership. And the reason why we wanted to we're breaking it down so that you can have an understanding of it, because we want you to know that all the companies are working. You need to, we need to have their names of people who are benefiting from them. There are people who benefited from them. So, Cedrick, let's get to the outreach plan.
Yeah. So, like he said, we already visited about 5 of the counties.
Okay, we have a caller on the line. Good morning. Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from? Let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to explain this to you with the city of Ashes. That's about 2 years ago, on the West African power pool, Ghana and Ross in Lima, like rest for the first down. We're told that government for the older people who know skill, that kind of job to work voluntarily to install the light to go from 7 p.m. from Dalapule, Ganta, Lowato, Grand Place, Sogo, Bingley. So all of these we started working along with the Ghanaians. When the SRP contract finished, 2010, we said, okay, for 2010, 11. So now, so can start volunteer, still continue to work. When you go, you can go, then you start to work. You get your own line, work different.
So,
work here for all the life.
Hello.
Hello.
I want us to have a conversation. Yeah. So we're talking about beneficial ownership. And the issue you bring here, do you want to know the company that you were working with, the owners of the company, or what you want specifically for the guest to answer?
After that, we were half for LEC, and when the computer, you can listen, the interview.
I want you to make specific. So what's the issue?
The issue is that actually that 5-year working, we're not on the left, the clinical to other people, the clinical to JEP, the anything is left, and then we apply, we take a case to put and we apply for approval level to let's say the Catalan approval is paid for the first up and down. They have another case get up and down, up and down.
All right, thank you.
If it's our case fit your basket, then you can know.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Your points are well noted. I try to connect what you're saying to see how we can bring it, but I still find it difficult to connect. Do you have any understanding of what you're trying to say?
I think his case is more labor issue. It does not relate to actually what we're saying. But what I was talking about is that we started the awareness in Bosrado County. We did it in Monrovia and then in Bentor City, and later on we went to Bong and Nimba counties, and then Grand Cape Mount and Grand Bassa were just a fortnight ago. So the next team is going to the southeast to do this Disney awareness Monday, because we want to get people involved. We want people to take it as their own, see it as a country own, not just coming from the LEITI and other relevant agencies. So the same team will go into the southeast again to specifically Maryland County, and is it Maryland? Okay, so we'll be in Maryland County to make the awareness there on the people. All right, so this is not just for Liberia. We're not just doing this thing because we have some marks to score. It is about making our country straight. Imagine if somebody is sitting down with dirty money somewhere, the people they can call tourists, those that can do bad things, they're sitting down with their money, they want to clean it. We should not allow our country to be used to be cleaning the kind of dirty money, because when they clean it here, they'll go cause trouble somewhere.
Sure.
And this, you see what happening around the world. When trouble is somewhere in the world, all of us can feel the pinch. Yeah. So let us take the issue seriously so that we can set the bar so hard that criminals will not be able to come into our country to do bad things.
Thank you. That's good.
So I just want to say thank you to Central for the great work. We are following you guys, and good that we are also partners in this fight against corruption. So we look forward to continuous engagement. Our doors are always open. After a year, if you need additional information, you just reach out to Cedrick and the EITI. That's one of the things I like about LEITI. We don't fall short in giving out information.
Sure.
So we are
You
open.
have a lot of things on your website.
Yeah. So once again, thanks, and we hope to meet soonest for such.
Jeffery Yates is the head of Secretariat at the LEITI, and earlier you heard the voice of Cedrick Kpadeh. He's the head of communications and outreach at the LEITI. My name is Sam Zota. I'm the media and communications officer at Central. Mark Bandao has been behind the camera, making sure our visibility goes beyond the studio on Integrity TV. Next week, Thursday, is another edition of the program. Better still, Friday is a repeat. Goodbye.